Hello and welcome to the Blackout podcast where I get to talk to amazing people who do amazing things. And today we don't have the normal backdrop because I have the super talented artist Prince. Thanks for going to the
Thank
Blackout
you so
podcast
much.
today.
Thank you.
Yo, I mean your work. I've seen your work on Instagram for some time. I've been like lurking, checking in the background. So, but you do like design, you do art and stuff. Like, which one came first?
Which one came first? I think my art came first because the design I went to university for to get more of an understanding of it, but my art definitely came first.
So, how did you get into art?
The first time I actually was ever introduced to art was in the orphanage. So a little back roundabout me is I'm from an orphanage in Haiti and I was adopted here.
Yeah.
But the first time that I ever like experienced art was like taking dry stones and just like scratching it on the concrete in the orphanage. And I remember some of the kids would sit around me while I like just do random doodles. And that was the first time that like I put mark on anything.
Well, do you recall what things you were drawing then?
I remember drawing one thing in particular, which is like a galimoto, which is a vehicle where you take a plastic water bottle and then you like cut the bottoms off and put the caps as the wheels.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
And in Haiti, we call them galomoto,
Okay.
which is just a gallon motorcycle or a gallon motor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, then when did he go from the concrete to paper or canvas?
I think when I got adopted, I had more access to like actual art supplies. So when I got adopted, my family definitely like promoted me becoming an artist or like explored that or helped me explore that part of myself. So when I got like presents from family, they often were art books, or like I would always go to the library and I would pick like 5 art books at the same time and then just bring them back the next couple weeks. So that's kind of how they supported me through that.
Ah, man, that's
Yeah.
wild. So, like, what when you started going to paper and canvas, what were some of the things you'd be painting then?
Okay, yeah. So I would always draw actually first in black and white. So I only started painting like 3 years ago. Before then, I really didn't use paint like hardly ever. The first time I remember like actually painting a painting to sell was during COVID. The rest was just me drawing and then selling those drawings. So it was just like hyper realistic stuff because that's what I was into and that's what it seemed like people wanted from me. But then I took some shrooms. No, I remember during COVID, it was like I took some shrooms and I was just in my basement and I needed to like get some stuff out with my like identity.
Yeah.
And so during that time, I just painted something a bright, colorful portrait came out of, and I put it on Instagram. Within 2 hours, it sold. I'm like, okay, so this is what like I should be doing because this felt a lot more natural to just paint something that was like natural for me rather than actually painting hyper realistic or drawing hyper realistic or drawing things that people wanted me to draw.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was like more you putting yourself on your canvas.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like with the we'll come back to the painting, but with the hyper realistic work, like it's so detailed.
Right.
It seems like a lot of work. How did you get into doing that?
I would always be sitting down at my mom's kitchen table or our family kitchen table while my mom were cooking, and me and my little sister would always just be on that table with our iPads drawing. And then I always just like, I could never draw from my imagination when I was little. I had to see something to draw it, which is something that like I had to learn how to kind of conquer. But which is like I went to university to help me do that. But when I was in like the kitchen table and I was like going through the iPad trying to see what I could draw, they would end up being faces or eyes because I felt like I could see expression through that. So that's kind of when I started doing realism drawings, trying to copy something exactly how it is.
Right.
Because when I did copy something exactly how it is, you could see like when you show somebody something that's hyper realistic, they're gonna give you like praise no matter what if it's hyper realistic, right?
Because it's like you're seeing
Exactly.
the thing.
Yeah, and so I think part of that was me trying to chase that like praise, because every time I would bring it to someone, they would be like, "Oh my gosh, that looks exactly like who this is,"
Exactly.
which helped me like think that I was a great artist. But then I realized I'm exploring realism and not like expression. So that's
Right.
when my art kind of took off, when I started exploring expression.
You mentioned something that I've just read about recently, like that there are people that can't picture things in their head.
Hmm.
I didn't even know that this was a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So like a friend sent me this article because like they're like I can't because I'm like you can't just like picture. They're like no,
Right.
and what I found out is that most people that actually like are great artists, like it was actually the article was about this person that has done like a lot of Disney cartoons and
Mm.
stuff, but the person can't like picture shit. They have to like either write about it or talk
Right.
about it. I'm like, so when you said that, I'm like, huh, okay,
Yeah,
well,
it
yeah,
does
this
take
is
practice to kind of get away from that. And the way to practice that is by, like, I base my whole business, Art by Prince, off it, is just changing your perspective. So that means, for example, one thing that I did a lot in my room, in my own little studio, is if we were sitting here right now, rather than drawing what I see in front of me, I try to draw what I would be facing if were the camera, if that makes sense. So it helps
oh
change my mind to a different perspective without
right,
actually being within that perspective. And then once I finish my drawing, I go to that side and see if it would look
like what
like
that thing
that.
is.
And that's kind of how I kind of helped myself. And that's not just like a physical thing. You can do it in design, or you can do it in conversation. You can do it in like so many different ways when you change your perspective on things.
So like rather than because we are humans are selfish people. It's like me.
Right,
So when
right.
you kind of see the thing from the other person's side, that's kind of what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly. Exactly. Even on this painting, you can see how I like tried changing my perspective with one of my friends. Like, for example, you probably won't be able to see it on camera, but these are kind of like henna style designs. And part of
Oh,
that was to just relate that like this person is multicultural. Like he's a black person, but like you might not know there might be some Indian aspects of him. But if you look closely, we try incorporating some of those designs onto the painting to
yeah.
show
I
that
mean,
there are
like
more.
I'll come to the painting because there's so many.
Yeah,
There are too many symbols on this
right.
painting. I'm like, what's going
Symbols
on?
are my favorite thing. I learned that though when I went
Oh,
to university. Semiotics is what I like think of myself. I'm like a scientist when it comes to
so
semiotics.
semiotics
It's
is
the study of signs. Anything that, for example, you see a stop sign, it tells you to stop. But if you see a triangle that's yellow, here it means yield. Somewhere else, it might not mean yield. So
okay.
my understanding, or like what I try to do, is change some of those signs to get people to think.
Oh, okay. So anyway, you're doing the painting on the iPad and stuff. It's time to go to university.
Hmm.
Like, how did you pick on design and not, I guess, art?
Okay, so that was actually really funny. I wanted to go to songwriting before. Yeah,
Oh,
I wanted to.
oh, this is a
Listen,
whole other thing.
yeah. So I've always been a mixed media artist,
Okay.
meaning like I'll work in video, I'll work in film, I'll work in drawing. I like will be able to put it all together.
Hmm.
But I was really fascinated with poetry and writing, and that's something that I still am and I explore. But I wanted to go into songwriting before any of this art, until somebody like disapproved of it.
How?
But it's just like the way they said it, they're like, there's no money in songwriting, and if you can songwrite, you can do it on your off. You know what I mean? Which is totally fair.
Right,
It's totally fair because that's the
right.
same thing that they told me when I went to NASCAD, and that's why I did design rather than painting. Because
Oh,
I can learn to paint. I can paint if you give me a paintbrush, but design takes understanding of problem solving and stuff like that. So that's
wait.
why I
So what
picked
is
it.
design? I guess like, cause
Des-
to the lay person is like logos and shit.
Right. So that's graphic design, but my degree is interdisciplinary design, which focuses on multiple disciplines. For example, design to me is when you fix a problem.
Oh,
So if you have to design a poster, the problem is you need people to come to this event, right? So to solve that, you're going to design a poster in a certain way to get people's attention, right? Propaganda is another one that's designed for you to be manipulated and stuff, which are like things that I love to study. And marketing is also designed because you're trying to design it psychologically to influence someone. So design is trying to solve a problem, while art is trying to express a situation.
right. How do they? Is there like I guess a bridge? Is there a way that they correlate or work together, like arts and design?
Yeah, I definitely think so. For me, especially, I find it hard to break away from being an artist, or like it's all to me the same thing. But
Mm.
a designer thinks about solving a problem, and then the artist thinks about like expressing the problem. So if you put them together, you can create some amazing
Amazing
things, right?
stuff.
You can start going from, rather than just being a play, maybe the set design influences how people see, you know what I mean? So that's how
Mm.
you can blend them together.
Okay, and then I guess how long were you in NASCAR for?
Technically 5 years, because of COVID. I took an extra year off, but
Oh,
yeah.
so and then of those 5 years, like what is one class that really stood out for you?
Mm. For multiple reasons, two of them stood out. So one of them for a really good reason, which is the prof was just really fun. Their name was Craig Dubois, and we were learning about prototyping websites and learning how to like make websites from kind of design them from scratch,
Mm.
which was awesome because everyone in the class just seemed motivated. And I loved it when we were in the studio and all of our minds came together to kind of work on a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The least favorite one, and what I remember, is my typography class.
What for like to me designers love typography. So why
I
did you?
love typography,
Oh,
but I
okay,
didn't
okay.
like the professor.
Why not?
Yeah, listen. That professor just made it really hard. Also, it was during COVID, so I think like
Oh,
part of everyone's like not understanding the situation and just kind of being fed into it, and it was online. I
right.
like to learn art and stuff
In
on a
person,
physical,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so part of that just didn't work out. And so that's probably why I hate it. But I love typography on my own. I like
Yeah.
create, like I literally sometimes take ketchup on a white plate, make the letters, and then just Photoshop or photocopy them to
I'll
make
make it.
letters. Yeah,
Yeah, because you mentioned this, and it's like just a couple of days ago, I was watching this video, and this guy was talking about the HBO sign,
right.
and apparently the HBO sign is kind of off.
It is off, especially
Oh,
the H and
yeah,
B.
that's what he was talking about. Yeah, it's like
Right.
he's off, and then the internet ran crazy, and then he actually found a designer that made that, and then the designer gave him the original thing,
Right.
and it was straight, but during there's a point between like make the art and then transferring it to
Right.
what the final thing was. It's like it's off. I
Exactly.
don't know that was off, but
I
like
don't think
yeah.
most people would know, but like I feel like when you have an attention to design and you like you automatically notice it. Especially when I went to university and we would have critiques, right? So if we saw that and like everyone was looking at it, we all would be like, bro, that's not aligned at all.
So what would be why that was off? Because the person was saying something about the B when you're drawing B when the straight line bends, that might make it shift. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
so
don't.
when you draw like type, for example, there's different things you have to pay attention to, which is the X height, which are when you put it on a capital letter, where is that top of it ever gonna be? And then you
Oh,
draw like an imaginary line across, and you can't go over those lines and you can't go under. So everything has to be within that line. Kind of like primary
yeah,
school where you have to draw within the
yeah.
lines. When you take a graphic and you move it from big things like a screen or an iPad, if it's not the proper file, if it's not codulated properly, then it will be miscued when you start like putting it on other things.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. And another thing that reminded me of is like I don't know if you've seen this documentary about Helvetica.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
It's like I remember like I love documentary. I love weird documentary. And my friend was like, check out these documentaries about like it was great, but like I never thought
How
because
much goes into it, right? And
exactly.
that's when I think it's good design, when you don't think about it. When you see something that's bad design, you automatically like, man, that sucked. If that door handle was 4 feet higher, you'll be like, I can't open the door. But no one
Right.
talks about how that door handle's in the perfect position for most people because it's
Yeah.
good design, right?
That man, that and I was like Helvetica is in everything. Talking about fonts. Do you have like favorite fonts you
I
love
do have
using?
favorite font. I have a font I use for my business called Makiba. It's a Japanese font. And the reason that I use it is just like I like even with my style now, I'm inspired by like Japanese street culture. But my favorite font is Makiba. But there are many different fonts that I feel like most people haven't heard of because I go through them just kind of seeing what they look like. I think it's so fascinating how like fonts can tell a story with just their
Mm.
letters, you know?
You will write the same word
Hmm.
with different fonts and they have different meanings. Just like
Exactly.
I'm like, it's wild when you
Right.
think
And I
about
think
this
the
thing.
best way to think about that when my teacher was talking about it is like if you see a horror movie and you change the font to like a sign painter or even it
Yeah,
just like doesn't give it
yeah.
scary.
I don't know if it was Saturday Night Live, but I love the show. And one of the best skits is about Avatar's title.
Oh yeah.
So and the whole thing is this guy is like, they made film the film has made billions and stuff,
Right.
and that the designer of the poster used papyrus.
I remember.
It kills me
But
every
it's also
time.
like one of it works, right? It works because everyone knows it as
Exactly, exactly.
right.
So
Even now, I think of it as the Avatar font and not Papyrus.
exactly. But yeah, it was a cool cut. So okay, so what was the plan though? Like when you were going through school, study
Hmm.
design, like what was did you know you were going to start your own studio right away or?
No. So my studio started with just an art page on Instagram, and so during university, while I was taking my design courses, I was thinking I would just be in like a design agency, doing whatever the client needs me to do, which is what we're still doing now. But I started my design agency, and it just seems like when I got out of university, anytime that I applied to a job, they were looking for junior designers, and like I feel like I'm way beyond a junior designer. I feel like
Okay, so for the lay person like myself, what
mm,
what does a junior designer do? Like I guess what's the difference between a junior designer and whatever the next level
right,
is?
and it's just because of corporate world. So if you haven't worked in a graphic design agency, you probably like if you haven't worked in a design agency, you would be a junior designer because you just came on. And if you
Oh,
do that for like 3 years, then you probably go into like the next part of it, which is like very
oh.
corporate on how it works, which is like how I do my art is very far from that. I go to meetings with a do rag. I like, you know what I mean? So I don't like that corporate way of doing it.
Mm.
But yeah,
So the app, why did you start the app page on Instagram?
pardon?
Why did you start your app page on Instagram?
Originally, it was just to share my work because I went to Haiti again for 4 years. My family like moved back to Haiti to become like Christian missionaries and to share some of my art that with people that were here. That's kind of what I did. But
Oh,
when I
okay.
got here, like came to university, moved back, came to university, my art page kind of started picking up, especially when I started exploring my identity paintings. And then I started thinking about how I can just like use this as a way to market myself and push it forward.
Mm.
So like now, like this yellow, my glasses, the art by Prince on them, I'm like fully branded in a way of like, I'm not just Prince, I'm like a business, if that makes sense. Kind of like
Mm.
Jay-Z when he's like, you know?
I'm not a businessman. I'm a
Exactly.
businessman.
Exactly.
I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Okay. Yeah. You mentioned identity a few times.
Hmm.
Like, it seems that's something that really matters to you. It comes out in your work and stuff. Like, to you, what's identity and why does it matter to you?
Okay, my identity matters to me, especially because I've been put into like a transracial family. So me and my little sister are the only black people in our family.
Mm.
Um, and because of that, I think, and also we went back to Haiti, and I felt even more excluded when I was in Haiti than I
Oh, right.
did when
Because
I
they are
came
like,
here.
right,
Because they all were saying I'm
right.
blanc and like, which is white, and they were because I couldn't speak the language again. I had forgotten it, so that created like a part in my. I was a child still, right? So it
Mm.
created a part of my mind where it's like, man, it seems like I belong in these two places realistically, but I don't simultaneously.
Mm.
And so I remember times I was literally in my room like crying and it just really hurt. So I would wake up and just start drawing.
Mm.
And the only things that ended up coming were like portraits and faces and eyes. And so I just ran with that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And were those still in black and white or color? By then you were doing color then?
When I was in my room crying, that was all in just like colored pencil or
Oh, okay.
pencil. Yeah.
Wow. So most of your paintings on canvas and then you just take photos. Do
Hmm.
you ever use like, I guess not photo,
Digital
Illustrator
stuff.
or
Yeah.
yeah.
So most of my work's actually done on digital, not on
Okay.
canvas. But when I do canvas work, it tends to be commissions. So I don't just like paint on canvas just for fun. I would do that digitally because canvases are very expensive. Like they're obscene. Like this one canvas here is like $75, right?
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wait, before you go on though, so you buy the thing is usually white.
hmm
I went to a painting, you know, all those painting things. Why did they make you paint it again before you start painting on? Like,
Yeah.
it's already white.
Right? I don't do that. I
Oh,
don't.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
why did they
need
make
that.
you do that?
See, yeah. People who like paint professionally will be like, you need to gesso your canvas. And if you use oil and stuff, I think that's important. But I'm the type of artist that explores, right? I'm like, right now, this has 8 different mediums on it. And people probably don't know that. But if I were to gesso, it just takes a lot more time and it takes a lot, like, it's not fun for me to take gesso and wait for it to dry and then start painting.
Yeah,
Or I
so
could just go for it,
bullshit.
you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, yeah. I'm like, he's white already. Can we just put the thing on it? It's
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
no, you gotta, I don't know, like prime it or whatever to like,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, murals are important to prime, right? And that's also an avenue I explore. So sometimes you do have to prime your surface to do it
So
properly.
like when you do the on walls and stuff, have you done one of those walls and shit?
Yeah, I've done 6 down here.
So where?
So I have one by Brothers Pepperoni. I have one literally right beside us, the green firefly.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah.
That thing is huge. So, you know what used to come to mind? It's like, it doesn't start out that huge, right? Do you draw a small one and then how do you take it from like, you know, whatever the thing to that big wall?
Yeah, that's a question that most people ask when it comes to murals. For me specifically, I have this skill of being able to like pinpoint where things are. So if you give me like something, I can mentally stretch it in my mind to know where things would be. But there are different artists that can't visualize that. So they use strategies like a doodle map where you make random lines and dots everywhere on the white wall, and then you use your phone to project it on top, and then you just look at where those lines to generate where those.
That seems so difficult though. But anyway, I don't know anything about art. Like, I'm so envious of artists because like you make, so, you know, I think, because I use film as my medium, like I think film is a cheat code. Like,
So hard, bro.
it's not hard!
Bro,
It's not hard!
you're telling me
No! What you are doing is harder, right?
putting paint on a wall is not hard.
No,
I'm not gonna.
see? No, man. Because, like, I think, you know, once you kind of know what the story is, you can, like, kind of, and usually you work with people, but as an artist, you're mostly working alone.
That's fair.
You're working alone and you're, like, making this thing. I'm like, man. And, okay, so, with commissions, how do you work? Like, the person will, like, reach out on Instagram mostly, right?
Yeah, I have a website that honestly I am very bad at keeping in track, but an agent is trying to take care of that. But when it comes to commissions, usually it comes either through Instagram, emails, and then my agent kind of separates them in terms of which ones need to be done for me to, you know, get my work properly paid for. And then we have a conversation about how the commission works. We send a contract, they sign it, I start the work. 50% gets sent to me before, and then after done, they send the rest.
So, agent, like, where did that come from? Because, you know, I don't think I met an artist like, I have an agent.
Oh yeah, I needed an agent. I think I noticed like last year because I started getting work for murals. I started getting work for workshop teaching. I started getting work for facilitation, live painting, and so I needed someone who would be specific to like help me organize that and also help me like construct grants.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. And, I mean, when you realized you needed that, I guess, what was the process to find the right person?
The process wasn't actually as hard as I have like technically an AI agent that takes care of like routing everything to my email and everything, and then an actual agent who will take care of like actually getting me this information, writing proposals and that. But sorry, what was the question?
Picking the person.
Okay.
Was it easy?
It was honestly just their like organization, because I really don't care who you are as long as you're organized, because I'm not the organized one, right? And Art by Prince design and art is all based on communication, right? So I just needed you to be a good communicator and someone who's organized, and then that's how we picked them. So we just had 2 interviews.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. 2.
Yep.
Holy shit. Okay.
2 as in like 2 people.
Right. That was narrowing down really quick.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, and then, I mean, obviously you picked one.
Yeah.
What were some of the reasons behind that person?
One of them is they're black. I think Art by Prince is a black creative studio, so I wanted to kind of start keeping that. But also, I saw how they, like, when we had our interview, like, she literally showed me how she organizes her content videos. She had folders on top of folders inside of folders to make it like properly organized, while one of them kind of had the same thing, but it just wasn't as organized for something that I needed, right? So honestly, as soon as I saw her organization and how things worked, it like pinged to me. And then the only thing I needed to know is like her communication and writing, because like, if I'm gonna give you this much money a month, I need you to know how to write grants and know how to actually like utilize that. So part of it was me talking to them about like, hey, how would you go about this? But this one agent didn't actually know how to write proposals and grants, but they were willing to learn, and I'm totally like okay with doing that. So that was like helpful.
Wow. Okay. So, what are some things you're currently working on? Because I know you're always working on a lot of things, but what's some of them now?
Yeah, when I walked into this place, like this interview, I got a commission to paint a Porsche Cayman. So that's coming up. So like literally painting the car.
The what? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's one. I have a secret project that I'm working on with Mawia. This is a product that we're developing. So I'm designing the product, the campaign, the packaging, and everything to like get it all ready for them to like promote and kind of sell. I'm working on a couple murals that I've pushed into 2026 just because I was literally like burnt out from the few that I did. And then just like some commissions, paper or what is it called? Painting commissions. I pushed all of them like later though.
So let's talk about that, like the time management and stuff. Let's start with the mural. Like, how long from hey, we want you to do this to it's complete? How long does it typically take on a like a big wall?
On a big wall. So the next mural I have that's big is like 65 feet long, right?
That's wild.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like 65 feet long and it's in Kentville. So we got this proposal signed within like a month. And so I saw their posting and they were looking just for some artists that can make striking artwork. I'm like, I could do that. So I sent in my portfolio, and then literally a week we came up with like a sketch, and then it had to go through different people because it was for like the technically like the Veterans of Canada, right? The murals for Veterans of Canada. And so like they had to go through some people to make sure that it works, and we had to do some revisions. But once that was done, took maybe like 3 weeks. We signed it on the 3rd week, and now the contract's signed. We're just waiting to do it. But it takes like a 65-foot wall would take me like 2 weeks to do.
Daily?
I work really fast. Most people like it would take them 3-4 weeks, but for me, I work really fast. So I could work like maybe 4 hours a day and get it done in 2 weeks.
So do you start up and come down, or is it like up, down, up, down? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's actually not thinking about up, down. It's more like thinking of colors and how they're organized.
Oh.
Yeah, and layers, because that's how you paint.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild. I mean, it's great seeing it. And like, to me, and this is like, to be the true artists are people that paint or draw or whatever, are people that sing. The rest, yeah, you can
Man,
fake it.
if I could sing, I feel like the world would be so mine, bro. Like, man, I actually think about it. I would trade all of my abilities to sing. Become a Chris Brown, bro.
So, would you say are some of the influences on your art?
Who are they? Basquiat is a big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, yes.
Yeah.
Why though?
I like him more because of the story, right?
What story?
His story of just like, for example, he was in a white centered place, right? Which
Very.
is very much what I am in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He excelled in a place that like most people wouldn't see him excelling in, and that's how I see kind of how I see myself. And I also just like how he was able to translate some of his bold things that he was thinking about, his anger, his frustration, his knowledge, into just simple shapes and colors. And so that inspired me to understand color theory, understand symbolism, understand just like Afrofuturism, because that's another thing I explore. So he's my biggest inspiration when it comes to painting. Tupac is my second.
Oh.
Yeah, I love Tupac because of this.
He didn't paint
He
though.
didn't paint,
Oh, okay,
right?
but
But
like
I'm a mixed
he
media
paints
art
in his words.
words, exactly.
It's yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then I love poetry. I literally have Tupac's poetry book with his like it's a very nice
Handwriting.
book. It's the handwritten one that they
Yeah,
photocopied.
yeah.
It's my Bible. No joke. I have so many poetry books, but yeah, words to me are like beautiful because to me words are exactly like paint, and so the way you mix them can create a whole different thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
literally just got into a or like an argument with my roommate over a miscommunication, which in my mind I started thinking about like, man, if I used different colors on some of these words, they probably wouldn't have been like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. Anyway,
Yeah.
coming back to Basquiat, another thing, like he's a he's an enigma to me in a way. But one of the things I read about him, like he was having a chat with these huge artists and stuff. I can't remember the name, but the whole point of the story was he was just chilling with this person, and then he went back to the studio, and then he went back to the guy with like a portrait he made of the person, and the person was like, I can't remember the line word for word, but essentially was like he's like a huge artist, but he
Right.
was so envious of Basquiat because of how fast he walks.
Right. That's
And I was
also,
like,
yeah, most people call me the, like, my friend Robert calls me Basquiat because how fast I work
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Is that also why like the crown is mostly your
That's
things?
also inspired by him, yeah.
So from the crown, let's go to symbols. How
Okay.
did you get into that?
Symbolism was during university because that's when I technically, like, it's one of those things where you know it exists, but you don't until you start learning about it and you see it everywhere, right? And I have chromothesia, which is when you hear sounds and you like see colors. And so that helps me like
Oh,
paint. And so when it came to symbolism for me specifically, I thought about like, what is one symbol that could represent me? Because my identity is like kind of all over the place, like birthday, birth certificates, wrong, like things just about me aren't realistic, right?
so like your birthday, just like let's pick a date type of thing.
Exactly. So I
What date
decided
did you pick?
March 16th is my birthday.
Why did you pick that date?
Honestly, that's the day that's literally on my birth
Oh,
certificate,
okay.
and so that just makes it easier. But when I was talking to my brothers in Haiti, we came to the obvious conclusion that's not my
It's not
birthday.
right.
So March 16th has always just been my birthday, and
Oh,
it
okay.
makes it easier to just say March 16th.
That one.
Just like,
I'm like, but if you had the opportunity to like blank slate, pick a date or month, what would it be?
I think, that's actually a good question. I think September.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll like pick fall like
Yeah.
October, November, and shit. My birthday's in December, but I'm like, just 1 month early, just a
Right,
little
right.
early. So symbols, yeah.
Yeah, so learning from just how I want to represent myself in my identity, not being like secure, I wanted to get symbols that represent me, kind of like Prince did. He turned his name into a symbol, right? So now I want to be like, if you see these yellow glasses, if you see this yellow crown that's shaped like two mountains, if you see it crooked this way, you think of me automatically. So I wanted to be like, not have my face be the forward thing, but my art, if that makes sense, which isn't exactly working the
No.
same. Well, like it's working, but like people still see me connected to my art.
What is the story behind the yellow?
The yellow. So I've always had glasses that represent me, whether it was broken glasses, I had tape around them for like 6 years, or it's just like glasses that were completely black with the eyebrows, but had Prince written on them. But when I needed to start focusing on the rebranding of Art by Prince, so we did like change the logo a bit, we changed some of the ways that our business operated. And so for me to like start introducing that in a social media in a visual way, I needed to find something that like distinguishes me right away. And my little sister's birthday is like, or my little sister's favorite color when she was little was yellow. And I don't know, yellow just seems like a very powerful color that works on black skin, right? So we picked yellow, and then I made sure to use that yellow because it corresponds to dandelions. And dandelions are very something that like relates to me. I think of myself as a dandelion just
In what
because
way?
dandelions are seen as weeds and aren't wanted, and as an adoptee, that's often how I feel. But we have many different uses. There's medicinal, there's food, you know? And so as an artist and as someone who's creating my own identity, I see myself within that flower because often people overlook it.
Right.
But I also think of it as myself because they turn white, just like I had to internally or somehow turn white. And but when they turned white, when flowers turn white, they like spread and like grow, right? They plant new seeds. And so my way of like creatively thinking about that is like, how can I use my influence being in the white world and a black world to spread my creativity? Yeah.
Man, yo,
They take a lot of like pen and paper on a wall trying to map out what people would think. And that's kind of how I think of social media. Like I said, I think of propaganda. I think of like how people use signs to work things that need to be worked out. And so using some of these knowledges, I just turned it into like a marketing strategy.
so let's talk about that. What was behind the rebrand for Art by Prince?
The biggest rebrand part was the logo. So the logo, I realized it had a crown, but it had like two triangles that had insides of them missing. And so when I started putting the crown on people's heads, it just didn't look good at all. It like looked like people just like stickered or it was cut out with something. And I needed it to look like something that was part of the picture, but also like draws your attention. So that was the biggest part of that. The second was like the color combination, even though it's just black and white. Before it was like a navy blue with yellow and black, or navy blue with white and yellow. So some of those colors didn't work when I started exploring like different avenues. When I was putting it into like a film, I needed the background to be better so that they could be better contrast or stuff like that. So when I started exploring new mediums, I realized that my logo needed to change, and for me to change that I'm going to use it in a way to change myself at the same time. So before even the whole rebranding thing, I started posting things about transformation, the transformation era. I started coming up with like a photo shoots that corresponded with me looking at things in a different way by using color and lines. But yeah, that's kind of how that came up.
You made a film recently that you put on social media on your Instagram.
I make a lot of films.
Yeah, I can't remember the title of this one though, but it's like you just put it up maybe last week or so.
Okay. The radio, I think?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then you're like, why you? So what was the process of making that film, and why did you make it?
So when it comes to films, I don't usually write scripts or anything. I go to where I want the video to be recorded. I take some of the shots that I think look awesome. I go back and then I put the video together. But with that video in particular, it was just about my past relationship. And I was just trying to tie it into a radio, radio that people talking to that doesn't have good communication. So I'm just trying to use those metaphors. But the idea, or like the way I record those videos, is very like how I do my art. I have the pieces, I bring it all together and see which parts kind of work. So I have different what do they call it? Revisions that I see that are in my drive, but the final one just ends up becoming whatever one I think is like, I don't want to work on this anymore. So it's not really like it's done. It's just like, I don't want to work on this anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what I was going to ask you. When do you know it's done?
I don't.
You're like, oh, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
So let's get to this, because I think the first, like, you know, there's so many, like the eyes are striking, but the first thing that stood out to me was the Pythagorean thing, like, and then like, so what is maths on the thing?
Okay, so first of all, this painting was painted with my friend Alphaz, and so me and Alphaz. And so when we first painted this painting, it was actually my roommate's canvas that someone had just like I don't know what happened to it, but we painted over it with yellow, and I loved how some of the colors came through. And then I called my friend Alfas to come over, and then we started painting a portrait on it. And when we were doing these symbols, we were laughing the whole time. We were like, bro, what if we had a 60 degrees on his like sternum? What if we had the, like, this isn't even real math. Like, what does 4 equals x? Like, it's not real math, right? But it allows you to go closer and read it. And this is what we're trying to get. Like, you'll have to come close and see there's Phoenix written here, which means it's related to me. I have Phoenix written on me, stuff
Phoenix,
like that.
why?
I think of myself also as a phoenix, just because rising from the ashes. I feel like me and my little sister, we actually both have tattoos of phoenixes together. But the idea is just like, we're not done yet. We came from the ashes. We came from a situation that broke us, but you guys are about to see what a real fire is.
Just wait.
Exactly.
Just wait.
Yes, sir.
When do you, actually, this is one thing I struggle with. Like, how do you title your paintings? Like, you know the title before you start painting them?
No, I almost, people think I'm so organized when it comes to stuff like that, bro. But when I go post it on Instagram, I come up with it. That firefly painting on our street, the Maitland Street, I came up with that when I put the last can on the ground. And the reason I came up with that is the light was glowing right by his face. There were like flies around this thing, and he looks like he's looking at the light. I'm like, firefly. But usually I name it something that corresponds with my Haitian culture.
Okay.
So like timalis is a can of like, I actually don't know whatever was in those cans, but they were just cans that had timalis written on them. And when I think of the orphanage, that's just something that comes up with in my mind. And so I called it timalis, which is, I'm pretty sure in Creole means like small envy, or like small, a little bit of envy. You know what I mean? Or a little bit of bad. And so I use that. Just, it doesn't have to mean anything, but as long as I write it down, I'll know from the time that I wrote it what I was trying to. Yeah, exactly.
Does this one have a name yet?
Oh yeah, Tizo. This one's Tizo. Tizo in Creole means little bones, and
Little Bones.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just think he's a very skinny dude.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Symbols and stuff. Why is the eye so like striking? Because the eyes,
Yeah, like I said, I was really focused on doing hyperrealism, right? So to break away from that and like rebrand myself, I needed to take away the eyes completely. So I painted them white to also show to represent that like people think I see white. Like people think that my view of how I see the world tends to be white because I was adopted by it.
Gotcha.
So now all of my portraits, even though they're black faces, will have white eyes.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And okay, I've asked how do you know stuff is done. So I didn't even, you were like you painted with someone. How does that work? Like, because I think I know Alfaz, super talented artist also,
Exactly.
but like, who paints what? You know what I mean?
See, this is why I like working with Alfaz, because me and him, I feel like work really well together. For this painting, we had the background being yellow. The only, like, when it comes to turns, bro's painting our hands. We have videos of like our hands being like super close with the paintbrushes. Just like, it doesn't matter what happens. You know what I mean? That's kind of how we do it. If you paint, like right here, we painted like a kiss mark, and that was like just done like this, and then I like corrected it with a paintbrush. While he was working on the hair, he was like, hey, what if we made this into like afro puffs, and then we added like these two exclamation marks to make it more like, it's just whatever comes to mind we put on. We never be like, hey, let's not put that on. If you think it goes on it, it goes on it. If I think it goes on it, it goes on it. And I think that's kind of what makes our collaboration pretty nice.
He's the only one you collabed with, or you've worked with other artists?
Yeah, I kind of focus on collaboration, but he's the only one that I like to work on a full painting. Like, I wouldn't do this with another person in terms of like it being fun. You know what I mean? Like, I would have to get paid.
So when you are collabing with other artists, how does that work?
When I'm collabing with other artists, it tends to be like workshops, right? So if there's two artists and I'm like the main designer, then I will teach a bit of the designing. But if it comes to like working on a commission, it's usually just like the same way we did in university. We came together and figure out how we can create a artwork, but that tends to be like a design process rather than just like how me and Alfas do it, where we just go right on the canvas.
So when you say design process, like, isn't the thing gonna be made? Like, will there be a decision on who actually goes to make it?
Yeah, I mean by design process, as in like we're putting plan to paper how it's going to end up looking like. How me and Alfast do it is just like we'll go onto the canvas. How
And
it
just
comes
do
out
it.
is how it comes out.
Okay.
But if I'm working with somebody that doesn't have the, like me and Alfast, for example, can paint from memory or can paint from stuff like that. But if I'm painting with someone who can't think that way, then we're gonna have to go on a piece of paper and be like, hey, this is how it's gonna have to work. We're gonna do the base first, then we're gonna take the base, wait for a
Right.
little bit. And it's the same way I teach people to paint murals. Just
And do you decide who paints what?
when I'm doing it like that, yeah, we'll be like, I'll take care of the background. The background will be dry, and then you can go in and do like this part. That's how I would do that.
Oh.
But with All Fast, we just kind of go for it.
So let's talk about what you do with Pier 21. What's it paint? It's not food. It's not food. What was it paint?
It's called Paint the Plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paint, yeah.
So I came up with the idea for the Pier 20 was to create a recipe book with immigrant recipes that have come to Canada and how they like change it up and how they kind of live with those recipes and with the ingredients that aren't even here. And then also the stories that it relates to them. Like, why does this bowl of ramen make you feel the way you do when it's literally 62 cents at the store, you know? And so at the Paint the Plate, I painted some of these things that we had conversations with these people. But the Paint the Plate one, I painted my Haitian favorite meal, which is rice and beans and chicken. And then I just taught I think it was like 65 people how to paint that dish. But there'll be like an exhibition with like the workup also. And also my cookbook will be printed. It'll take a while because I'm still trying to like organize it properly before
Cookbook.
releasing it.
You can't just say that in passing. Cookbook.
Oh, yeah.
What cookbook? What you're cooking now?
Oh, I've always cooked.
Oh my god. What?
The Pure 21.
You gotta say something for
Listen.
some people. You gotta be like, paint, I
See,
do
this-
this, I do this. Okay, at least you can't sing. So
I can't sing, right? Yeah, man.
Okay, so-
don't bring that up.
cooking, yeah.
Yeah,
Tell the
so
story there.
during COVID, I got into cooking because I needed to survive. But I also was getting like, what is like the CERB or whatever. But didn't need to spend it on anything because my rent was like $200, and so I spent all of it on groceries. I would go to the grocery store and get like $600 worth of groceries, and then I learned how to cook like random things like octopus, calamari, just on myself and through like cooking.
How, like online or
Online,
Okay.
Google, Chop the Show is like a cooking show where random participants get random ingredients and turn it into a dish. And so I use that as a way to like change my perspective on it. So I got things like the most random. I'll have an avocado. I'll have like a dog bone or whatever, and or not a dog bone or what is it called? You know those dog chew toys or those dog things?
Yeah.
Trying to make food out of those as ways to like practice and just like whatever. I wouldn't eat that one.
Right.
But it was fun to explore.
Yeah.
But when I started exploring stuff like that, I realized that like it's very much just art. Like you put things together. For me, if you mix red and blue, I can see it becoming purple. So to me, if you mix like paprika with onion powder, I can already taste it in a way. So it's just like making an artwork. But the thing that was important to me was actually not like the process of making it, was the final dish. I needed to be picture perfect. So I always had like white plates or setups that to make professional photos of the food, which is I think one of the best things about the food that I like is just like the photos. You know what I mean? How we can make a dish look like it's tasty by just taking a photo of it, and that can be tied into signs and stuff like that too.
Wow. So the cookbook, what like?
Yeah, so I I guess
What
I'm
is-
going everywhere.
Yeah, no.
But
I'm
the-
the one that dragged you into how you got into cooking, but the cookbook was a
So I interviewed immigrants that came here, right, and are living here, and so got some of the recipes of those recipes that they are, or of those foods that they make that, and how they changed them here. For example, one of the dishes is Haitian griot. Haitian griot takes like 3 days to make. But I do
What?
yeah, it takes a lot because you have to like marinate, you have to wash, you have to do all of this step, and that's what makes it a delicacy because it takes a lot of work. You have to do all of this, but I'm not gonna be here and slaughter a pig and do all of that process, right? So it's just this recipe book is how did we change but still eat the same meal, and what does it mean to us now? And so it's just a collection of these people's stories.
What is it called? What would the book be called?
That is one of those things where like when I close the book, I'll probably write it
Ah!
on it.
I don't know how. You know what? I'm so envious of people I can't start something if I don't know the title, and it's a problem.
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah, it's so bad. Like, I mean, I have an idea of where I want to go to, and I know what it is, but like, if I don't have that title, I can't even start writing anything. Like now, I'm working. Sometimes I'll take a title of something I like and I'll slap it on so I can just start.
Right.
But then I might tweak it at the end.
That makes
But
sense.
like I need to have a title. So when people are like, "Yeah, I just painted," I'm like, "Oh God, I can't do that. I can't do that." Okay, so someone is out there checking out this episode and like, "Yo, I want to, I guess, express myself or like." Accept my identity and like find a way to express it. You've done that, you're doing that, you've turned it into business. What advice would you have for this person?
Just to express their identity and not actually like try to make money from it.
Yeah, just
to express your identity. I think it's like go in your room and like be who you are, right? And then that person, try to find one way to bring that person out of that room. For example, for me, I dance in my room while I do my like painting. I don't know why. That's just something to get my energy out. So in ways that I try to like be that one person outside of my room and show that part of my identity is like when I'm waiting at a bus stop and I have music in my ear, I'll dance. I don't care who's watching. It doesn't matter. I'm not a good dancer, just like I can't sing, but I'll be dancing. So that's kind of thing I think is like the biggest thing is just kind of like taking one part of yourself and bringing it out into the world, and then slowly by slowly your identity is going to start kind of becoming out in the world. But if you don't know your identity, then you can just make it up. You know what I mean? Like we are creative beings, and so as an artist, I feel like my job is to be creative, and that is included in who I am as a person. Who like my name isn't Prince. You know what I mean? So like people know me as Prince now because that's my identity, but like you can start creating things, and over time your identity is what you say it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a question someone asked me that kind of blew my mind, and I'm like, I need to ask every guest this question. So what's something that happened to you before you were 17 that I mean, I might have an idea, but but played
Take a guess.
but played a huge role in who you are today.
I'm gonna throw you for a loop because you already know it. When I came here, I got fish and chips, and they were fries and not chips. So that kind of blew my mind.
Right.
But no, realistically, it's definitely just my adoption after the earthquake in Haiti. Because it taught me just kind of like, as a kid, it taught me that like the world is a lot bigger than what I thought it is. And even now, like, my world is getting bigger and bigger just by like the different clients that come to me. But I think for me, the biggest thing that has happened that shaped who I am is just like I was put in an orphanage, I was adopted by white people, and that part has shaped who like my identity has become and also how I express it.
Man, Prince, thanks. You know, so you brought some magic to the studio today. So I'm gonna let you go with a little bit of magic on myself. Wait. So first,
like magic trick.
Yeah. Write a number between 1 and 60, just one number. Do not show me. You can show the camera, either one.
Okay, got it.
And then these cards are gonna help me tell you what your number is. Hopefully.
Y'all see that, right?
All right, okay. So, but I'm gonna need your help, right? Your number it's gonna be in at least one of these cards, but it can be more than one, right?
Right.
So, is your number here?
On that card? No.
Nope. Is it here?
No.
Okay. Is it here?
Yes.
All right. Is it here?
No.
No. Is he here?
No.
Huh. Is he here?
Yes.
Ha. Okay, let's go through this. Is not here?
Let me double check. No.
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 Nope.
Actually, I think I know your number.
Okay.
24.
Yeah. wait.
Magic.
Wait. I'm gonna try to use my change perspective to figure that out. That's crazy.
Prince, thank you so much for coming to the podcast. Keep creating your art, and I think we should do like a art film thing together.
That would be fun.
I can't paint for shit, but film comes easy to me. So
As long as you don't need my music.
You know what? Maybe that's what you need to do. Like, okay, you have to create the song. You have to create like a title track for the film we're gonna make together. But yeah, thanks for coming to the podcast.
Thank you
today.
for having me.